Welcome to the Dice Tower, a series of video reviews about board and card games. Here are your hosts, Tom Vassell and Sam Healy.
Hey everybody, welcome back. We are the Dice Tower guys. I'm Z Garcia.
I'm Tom Vassell.
And I am Sam Healy.
Slammin' Sammy, a.k.a. All right, today we're going to be taking a look at Zooloretto. Zooloretto, it was a Spiel des Jahres nominee back in 2007.
And he knows that
It says it right in the box.
It won. Did it not win?
It did win.
It did win.
It was a deserving win.
I believe so. That was actually a very good year. But Zooloretto is basically about running your own zoo. You are managing and running your own zoo, gathering animals and distributing them.
It was a spin-off of a smaller game called Coloretto.
Right.
Which Coloretto was just a mechanic, really, of just getting groups of, I think there was animals in Coloretto.
They were just colors, but they're little chameleon. But really, you're right. That was a mechanic. This is now that mechanic spun into a theme. But let's get to your explanation, and then we'll come back to this.
All right, that boring explanation. In Zooloretto, you have these trucks, these wooden things that are here in the middle of the board. Each of these trucks has spots to hold 3 different tiles. Each player is going to get a player board, and you have another side board here, and it's an expansion to your board, which you'll be able to build over the course of the game, and you'll also have a couple coins that you'll be able to use. Now, as the game progresses, you have the number of trucks here in the middle equal to the number of players, and on a player's turn, they have an option. They can either draw a tile. Now, the tiles can be placed on the side of the board. I'm putting them in a bag. You actually have some tiles that you place at the side here with this red disc on top. Those are tiles you use because when the last tile is drawn from the bag, then the end of the game is triggered, but you still might need some more tiles. But when you draw a tile, you'll simply place that tile in one of the trucks. It's your choice. Now, the tiles, there's 8 different animals, and you use fewer animals if you're playing with less than 5 players. But most of the time, it's a truck. Now, if you get the same animal, you can put it in the same truck, or you can put it in a different truck. It doesn't matter. If a truck is full, you can't add any more to it, but you have no restrictions on how you add these. When it's your turn, you simply take one and add it to a truck that's out there. Now, instead of adding a tile to a truck, maybe you're getting tired of this, or maybe there's a truck that you really want, you can take a truck. Now, you don't have to take a full truck. I could take that panda and the coin, or I could take the panda, ape, and kangaroo, or I could take the elephant. And when you take that, let's say I take this truck, I then must place those animals into my zoo. Now, if you notice, the zoo here is broken up to 3 enclosures. This one has 5 spots, 4 spots, and 6 spots. So maybe I put the kangaroo here, the ape here, and the panda bear here. And that's what I would do. If I had taken that silver coin tile, that would give me another coin. If I had taken one that shows little vending carts, I would place those vending carts in various places in my zoo. There's spots for those. Now, let's say I got a 4th animal here, an elephant. I would not be able to place it in any of these spots because once you put an animal down, that's the only animal that can go there. So this is panda bear only, boys. Elephant's out. So you have to put those in your barn. And as time goes by, you will add more and more creatures to your animals. So if this gets full up of chimpanzees, I have to put the rest of the chimpanzees in a barn. Although there's no rule that you can't have multiple of the same kind of animal in different pens. Now, you'll notice that some of these animals here show a male or a female marker on them. Those are fertile animals. If you place a male and a female animal of the same type in one enclosure, then they automatically have a baby. You have some tiles set aside that are rounded, and that shows the, oh, so cute, baby elephant here that's added. If there would be no room for the baby elephant, then the baby elephant gets put in the barn. Now, a third action you can do on your turn is you can spend coins. You'll get coins over the game. You start with some. When you completely fill an enclosure, that will give you a bonus coin sometimes. And you can spend 3 bonus coins to flip over your expansion here, which gives you another enclosure, a place to put animals. You can also spend money to trade animals from one spot to the other, move ones from one spot, or even buy an animal from someone else's barn, or get rid of one out of your own barn. And you will continue doing this. That's really the whole game. You'll just keep doing this till the game ends and the tiles are out. And then when that's done, you're going to score each area. You'll look at each area separately. If this area, for example, is completely full of any animal, I'll get 5 points. If it's full but missing 1, I'll get 4 points. If it's missing 2, I get no points. Unless I have a vending stand in that section, in which case I get 1 point per animal. So this would be 2 points. This kangaroo down here is 1 point because I have a vending stand down there. And these 3 elephants up here give me no points because I needed to fill everything but 1 or have a vending stand. 1 more elephant would have given me 5 points. Whereas, vending stands also give you points. 2 points for each different type of vending stand you have. And then you lose 2 points for each type of different animal you have in the barn. So you don't want to have too many different animals in the barn or you'll lose points. Whereas the most points is the winner of the game. Glad that's over.
Yes, thank you so much for hurrying.
All right. So Zooloretto is basically an upgraded version. And I remember when this came out, people said, oh, just Coloretto with a board. And in some aspects, they were right.
Right.
But to me, Coloretto was an interesting thing. Once I got Zooloretto, I don't think I ever played Coloretto again.
And I think I feel the same way. To me, there were a lot of haters of this when it came out, and I just thought it took that mechanic and actually gave me a game. It was not now. And again, I like Coloretto. I think it's a neat game. It makes you think about what you want to do, and that's great. But it is so bare bones and stripped down. And this, you feel like you're managing your little animals and you're putting them in your little enclosures. And man, it's a great theme, and it really puts you there. Great family game too.
Yes.
You know, this goes down well with just about everyone.
Yeah, it's so easy to understand. The male, female animals make a baby animal.
That's right.
You know? It's you fill up your section of the zoo, buy another section of the zoo. This just makes sense.
Right.
It's not. There's nothing weird. Sam and I were talking about sometimes mechanics in Euro games are kind of wonky. Why can't you do this? And this one, it makes sense.
It does. It does make sense. The one thing that the main difference this added to Coloretto was the money management aspect, which is very light, but it was still there. And now you could, you had to manage that money with buying other people's animals and paying coins to expand, and that's all great. And that was a little hard to remember. I know this version that you have, I think, included these little cards that were a reference for that. If I'm not
have them. I'm not sure if they came with the original game or one of the.
So I actually got the original, and those were not in there. And that was always the one thing that was the only thorn in my side when I had to teach that game. It was just like, oh, now I have to go over the coin actions, and those were just a little wonky. But the rest of the game, I felt made up for that. With just the theme. I could put this out on the table, and no matter who's in the room, they come over and want to see what's going on.
Yeah. There's a push your luck aspect to whether or not you go out and get a truck. You let that, it has 2 animals that you want. Do you wait to come around? Do you place that coin on there and see if it waits and sits and stays around the whole table, comes back to you? There's a little bit of a push your luck aspect there. We were talking about how the theme really fits. Even the fringe part of the concession stands even adds to the theme, because I was thinking about this. It sounds kind of strange, but I was kind of thinking about this when I went to Miami Seaquarium with the summer camp earlier this summer. The places that had those little frozen lemonade stands, those places that had the little hot dog stand, they got more traffic than the other ones that didn't have it. And it made me think about Zooloretto and how that part of the theme really came out in the game to where it helped out a little bit. It's kind of abstracted during the game, but at the end you get more points because you had more concession stands. Right. People wanted to come to your zoo more than somebody else.
Yeah, I think actually the scoring system in this game, I think it's brilliant. I love the fact that if you fill out the enclosure, then it scores. If you're one animal short, it pseudo scores, right? And then it's like nothing under that. So it's like an all or nothing thing. I mean, Michael Schott used to be one of my favorite game designers. Back when this came out and a little bit before it, he was at the top of the game. And then after that, he started sort of making the same game.
Okay. Well,
But I still, when this game came out, it was an amazing game, and I still love it. I still have it. I think it's a great gateway style game.
there's some minor things I don't like. I think that the game isn't tough enough.
Okay.
Now that's great for maybe a family setting, but I like sometimes for when you're forced to sell animals or because you have extra animals and
Right.
you lose points for that sort of thing. That if you play even remotely conservatively, you can almost always avoid that.
Sure.
Now, when you add in the expansions, and I'll review them next week, the different expansions, I think some of those expansions are good to add in. There's not one expansion that I would say is essential. Most games I always say, here's an essential expansion. For this one, there's none.
That's true.
But and also I'd be very cautious about adding more than one or two in at a time because they all do such all over off the wall things. But I think sometimes adding in one of those expansions, maybe like the exotic animals or something like that, adds to the threat level, I guess, if you will. Maybe pushing your luck makes it a little bit harder or such. But regardless, I think this if I was saying games to teach new families how to play, this would certainly be in the top 5, I think. Because the theme comes through that strongly.
I agree.
So for me, I'm going to give you this one, an elephant's trunk and a camel's hump up.
Wow. And I'm
Disembodied?
that's kind of
Why not?
Disgusting.
okay. I'm going to give it 2 baby monkeys swinging up. I love it. Great game.
That's 4. You going to ruin it?
I'm going to do this. I'm going to give it 2 up.
Try to figure that rating system out.
You got to do that.
I want somebody trying to do a transcript of that. Write that down.
All right. Well, anyway, that's Zooloretto. Until next time, you've been watching Miami Dice. We'll see you.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.